Welcome to this web-based training course on the Archestra IDE. The Archestra IDE Integrated Development Environment e-learning training course is designed to familiarize you with the Archestra IDE views, toolboxes, menus, and main features of this tool. Demonstrations on how to create, connect to, and delete a Galaxy, as well as a demonstration on customizing the Archestra IDE working area are included. This module should take you approximately 60 minutes to complete. Upon completion of this course, you will be able to describe the key functions of the Archestra IDE, summarize the Galaxy-wide settings available in the Archestra IDE, describe the key operations when working with objects in the Archestra IDE, create, connect to, and delete a Galaxy, describe the template and the graphic toolboxes, describe the model, deployment, and derivation views, describe the I/O devices, I/O mapping, and the operations views, and describe the configuration area, menus, and toolbar. This section provides an overview of the Archestra IDE. In this section, we review what the Archestra IDE is, what is a Galaxy, the key features of the Archestra IDE, an overview of the Galaxy-wide settings, and an overview of how runtime applications are created and deployed. The Archestra IDE Integrated Development Environment is a configuration and development tool for a Galaxy. It accesses a Galaxy repository, GR node, local or remote, and connects to a Galaxy. Once connected to the Galaxy, the Archestra IDE allows for the configuration of Galaxy-wide settings like security and user defaults. Additionally, it allows you to create and configure automation objects such as valves and mixers and graphics. Commands made through the Archestra IDE are actually executed by the Galaxy Repository Service. For example, when connected to a remote computer, connected to the Galaxy, you deploy an object. The actual deployment task is executed from the Galaxy Repository computer to the target platform and not from the actual computer sending the deploy command. Multiple users can work concurrently on different object sets from different locations. If security is enabled, a login is required before accessing the Archestra IDE. A Galaxy is the entire application. It is the project database and configuration information in a single logical name of your deployed application, runtime environment. In runtime, the objects in the Galaxy can be deployed to multiple computers for load balancing, task distribution, and redundancy. A key benefit of the single namespace is that it allows objects and process data to be referenced by scripts, graphics, and other objects from any computer in the Galaxy without specifying the object's location. It includes a collection of objects that represent all the physical and logical entities in the application, from computers and runtime engines to field equipment. It permits a common set of system-level policies for which all components and objects comply, such as security, alarms, and communications settings. The Galaxy repository software manages the development and deployment of the Galaxy and stores all the changes. The project database is hosted in the same computer where the Galaxy repository software is installed. Upon opening the Archestra IDE, the Connect to Galaxy dialog box appears. This dialog box allows you to select a Galaxy from which to connect from a specific Galaxy repository node. If the selected Galaxy has security enabled, it prompts for login credentials. Additionally, you can create a new Galaxy or delete a Galaxy. The Archestra IDE allows the configuration of Galaxy-wide settings, as well as the creation and configuration of objects, such as I/O points, alarm definitions, and so on, and graphics. These are discussed later in this module. This is a tool for creating new objects and configuring new objects. The checking out and checking in functionality allows for versioning control. Only one operator can edit an object at a time. The Archestra IDE permits the import and export of objects and configuration. Here's the full Archestra IDE. Upon an export, operator can edit an object at a time. The Archestra IDE permits the import and export of objects and configuration. Here's the full Archestra IDE interface window. Later in this module, we discuss additional details and show some video demonstrations. The Archestra IDE main view is the default window when you first open the Archestra IDE. The menu bar is at the top of the window below the application title bar. Using the menu commands, you can configure Galaxy settings, create objects, select views, and so on. The toolbar is just below the menu bar. These shortcut icons can be used in place of many of the menu commands. Toolboxes and views are tabbed panels, meaning click a tab to navigate to a hidden panel. The template toolbox is located on the upper left of the window. It contains automation objects to create templates and instances. The graphic toolbox is on the upper left of the window with the template toolbox. Use this to create graphics and symbols. Model, deployment, and derivation views are pinned on the lower left. The model view displays automation objects relationships, usually in the physical layout of the plant. The deployment view displays how objects are physically dispersed across computers. The derivation view shows the parent-child relationship between all automation objects in the Galaxy, from a base template to each instance. The object editor area in the center of the window displays the information of objects and their configuration. The I/O devices view on the right shows relationships between automation object instances and where their I/O data is acquired. The I/O device mapping on the lower center of the window displays validation of auto-assigned attributes to its source. The operations view, which is not shown by default, displays status of object validation. The auto-hide, push-pin, and close icons are window panel controls. Later in this module, all the window panels and the menu bar, including the toolbar, are discussed in more details. You can customize the Archestra IDE working area, or main window, by rearranging the toolboxes and views. All toolboxes and views can be docked to any edge of the main window or have it float over the working area, grouped in a single panel and accessed through tabs at the bottom of the panel, or close it so it doesn't show in the working area. Closed panels can be reopened through the View menu. Auto Hide will show as a single tab on the edge of the main window. Clicking the tab will temporarily show the panel. To restore the default layout of the Archestra IDE, simply choose the Reset Layout option from the View menu command. The customization of the working area is associated with the current logged-in user. This means other users accessing the Galaxy from a different computer see their own custom layout for their working area. Now let's watch a short video demonstration on this process. It is easy to rearrange and customize the panels or views on your Archestra IDE window. First, click and hold the title bar of a panel. Drag and drop the panel to another location. You could resize the view at this point. Double-click the title bar to return it to its default location. Click the down pointing arrow to choose to hide, float, or auto-hide a view not in use. Thereby allowing more space for other panels for which you are working. Click the pushpin icon to lock the panel in place. To navigate between views, click the tab at the bottom of the panel. To reset all panels to their default location, select View from the menu bar and choose Reset Layout. Click the X icon on a panel to close the panel. From the View menu, choose which views to reopen. Additionally, you can navigate to or open different views from the toolbar view icons. Once connected to a Galaxy, the Archestra IDE application allows the configuration of Galaxy-wide settings, as well as the creation and configuration of automation objects and graphics. Some of the Galaxy-wide settings that can be configured with the Archestra IDE include security configuration and permissions, user preferences, Time Master Computer for time synchronization across all Galaxy nodes, I/O communications management, global graphic styles, alarms and event logging parameters, language definition for multiple language applications, and multiple Galaxy communications. Each of these is briefly discussed later in this course. Security in your Galaxy controls client access to the Archestra IDE and controls access to object attributes and any historized data. Before any security settings can be made, all objects in the Galaxy must be checked in or an error message displays. From the Galaxy menu, select Configure from the drop-down menu, then choose Security. The Configure Security dialog box appears. There are multiple tabs for which to configure security groups, roles, and users. Review the security training modules for more information on security for your Galaxy. On the Authentication Mode tab, there are 4 types of authentication modes. By default, the None type is selected. The system does not perform any type of authentication for users. The Galaxy mode uses the security setup from the User tab. The OS user base type is centered on the Windows sign-in and Domain Windows Group Security. This type is maintained by those with permissions to establish security in the Galaxy. Finally, the OS Group base type is established by the IT department set up from company-assigned roles. This type is solely maintained by the IT department. The language settings of the Galaxy control which languages are available to symbols and alarm comments. Languages are only added at the Galaxy level. At runtime, Archestra IDE symbols are shown in the language set for InTouch Window Viewer. This is discussed more in the InTouch training modules. Choose Configure from the Galaxy menu and then select Languages. The Configure Language dialog box appears. This process creates a text file for which contains all the Galaxy messages, dialog boxes, and screen names. You edit the text file with the translations for the selected language. For more information about language switching in the Archestra IDE symbols, see the Archestra IDE Graphics training module. Enabling advanced communications allows you to permit object scans to be activated on demand. Choose Configure from the Galaxy menu and then select Communications Management. The scan groups for device integration objects must be configured to Active on Demand to take advantage of this setting. Additionally, you must restart all deployed platforms. The Archestra IDE provides a predefined Galaxy-style library. You can create a user-defined theme or style to meet the needs of your application. The user-defined styles do not contain preset values. From the Galaxy menu, select Configure and then choose Galaxy Style Library. The Configure Galaxy Style Library dialog box appears. Existing styles cannot be renamed or deleted. In addition, new element styles cannot be added to the existing library. Therefore, you need to create, name, and then export the style to create your own library. Click the Element Style tab. You modify the properties of any element style in the current Galaxy Styles library. Element styles define one or more visual properties, such as fill, line, text, blink, outline, and status. The Preview field shows the appearance of an element when the style is applied. The Reset to Default button returns all modified element styles to their default value. Review the Format Styles tab. You can apply a new style to a graphic. Save and export the defined new style to import and apply to another Galaxy. Additional training courses offer details on graphic styles and elements. Some application server functions, such as scripting, alarming, and historizing, depend on time synchronization for everything. From the Galaxy drop-down menu, select Configure and select Time Master from the slide-out menu. The Configure Time Master dialog box appears. Enter the Time Master node location that provides a time to other nodes on the network for which to synchronize. The Time Master can be a non-Archestra IDE node or one within the Galaxy. Archestra IDE nodes within the Galaxy periodically synchronize with the Time Master. As a note, the system administrator of a Windows 2000 domain may have time synchronization already configured. If this is the case, configuring a Galaxy Time Master is unnecessary and may conflict with the existing time synchronization.